How are you?
Oh, he's bubbly, I can tell.
Bubbly, bubbly.
Should I face him?
Ballroom Basics is bubbly.
I've never been in Jamaica, Queens in my life, and yet here we are. I'm here in Jamaica, Queens at Sacred Hearts Academy, here in Jamaica, Queens. I think this is
Cambria Heights.
Cambria Heights
is the neighborhood in Jamaica that
which
we're
it
in.
really gets very specific.
Very specific.
And I'm here with Sydney Grant, very quiet, understated musician.
Yes.
Dancer of Dance Basics.
Ballroom Basics.
Ballroom Basics. Why don't you tell the group what Ballroom Basics is all about?
So Ballroom Basics was launched over a decade ago in a single Harlem school with about 24 kids. And in the decade since, we have served over 18,000 school children in more than 80 schools throughout New York. And we have a presence in over a dozen Catholic schools. And we're really excited with our partnerships with parochial schools because I think
That's
that,
great.
we're the only large-scale non-competitive partner dancing program.
Okay.
And I think one of the things that parochial schools especially admire about our mission is that what we're teaching is polite and poised and healthy physical touch.
We were just in the hall waiting for you to come.
Yes.
But, I mean, obviously. The kids are adorable. So
are.
polite. They all lined up as they went by and said good morning and have a nice day and all the good stuff.
Right.
And they're adorable. So it's a good school system environment.
Yes, this school we've been in for over 5 years, and the Principal Russell Smith, continues to have us back because, again, she finds, we're living in a day and age where kids are painfully disconnected. They're addicted to their cell phones. Bullying is epidemic. And with all of the headlines with like the hashtag Me Too and abuse and so on and so forth, to have a program that through ballroom and Latin dancing connects kids in a polite and appropriate way with one another, asking for the dance, accepting the dance, teaching them how to be ladies and gentlemen. It's like merengue plus manners.
Wow, that's great. And eventually we'll see some demonstrations after the second or third interview.
Absolutely.
So how did you get into coming into the school? And then we'll talk about your dance career.
Sure,
Talk
sure.
about how'd you started that in school?
Well, I started with in a different program that is competitive in nature. And what I realized was I reflected back on my own youth and I said, you know what? I did very well academically. I was valedictorian in college and in the top 10 of my high school graduating class in Franklin Lakes, where Barbara Costello is also from, your dear friend and mine.
Yes.
And in any event, I remember thinking back and saying, you know what, we had so much competition, athletic, academic.
Yes.
What kids really need more than anything is an inclusive activity that is totally non-competitive.
Enjoyable and non-competitive.
Yeah,
Right,
so every child's a winner just for trying,
right,
just for doing it.
Right.
My belief is you don't need a trophy or a medal or a ribbon to validate a skill in something,
Exactly.
right?
Great.
You just need interest and effort. So I started my program.
Interest, effort, and somebody behind you.
Yes.
Leadership.
Yes, interest, effort, and leadership, absolutely, and support. And that's one of the reasons why we're excited about this interview in particular, because I think that many more Catholic institutions will find out about this program.
Great.
I think, our motto is that unlike competing, where the schools will come together and someone's trying to win, our motto is, well, we don't beat the other school, we meet the other school.
That's great.
And when you think about it, that's a huge difference between the two things. If school children show up and they're trying to win against another school, they're like sneering at the other kids, sizing them up like, oh, we're going to beat you. It's true. I mean, that's just the nature of it. But if you're coming to all just get together to dance with one another, then what you're really doing is giving a child socialization skills to walk up to another same grade student and say, may I have this dance with you, please? And take them on the arm. I mean, that's a skill that they'll take with them for a lifetime, whether they go on a job interview or are at a family wedding where they may dance with other relatives or other friends that they don't know.
Right.
So I feel that it's a much healthier approach to this kind of activity.
Excellent. And it's I haven't seen your kids yet,
right?
But it just reflected in that little group of kids we saw. They all stood up as we went by, and they greeted us, and they were polite, and they knew what to say. Good afternoon, good morning.
Good morning, right.
Have a nice lunch. Of course, I didn't eat yet, but that's another story. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, what's really nice is, the first thing we say to the children is, in Ballroom Basics, you're not girls and boys, what are you? And the answer is ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh.
And we talk about respect and we talk about manners. And what's very interesting to hear from the teachers, principals, parents that we work with, they tell us that the behavior trickles over into their other classes, into their other activities,
Yes, I
where they're
think
very
so.
polite, asking politely. One mother in Harlem told me once her boy's father was unfortunately incarcerated, and so he didn't have a male role model in his life.
Right.
And he came home and he said, "Mom, there's this guy, Dr. Dance, who's come to our school, and he's teaching the boys how to be gentlemen, and I'm supposed to take you on the arm." And literally, he was like holding the door for his mother, taking her on the arm as they were walking down the street to do groceries. I mean, you can't put a price tag on that kind of anecdote.
No.
Like, that's just extraordinary to me.
Beautiful.
And she basically came up to me at the culminating event, which is our Ballroom Basics Bash, when we bring together the two schools to dance with one another in the different districts where we work. And she threw her arms around me and she said, "Dr. Dance, you and you alone turned my son into a gentleman. We had to move back to Harlem because my husband was incarcerated, my ex-husband was incarcerated, and it was rough, and he started to run with the wrong boys at first."
Wow.
And she said, "You turned the direction of my son's life
beautiful?
around."
See, that's-
And that's just remarkable. So I don't have any biological children of my own, but I'm proud to be dance daddy to thousands of school children. It's a really special feeling.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. How did it start?
Well, it started in a single Harlem middle school in the Morningside Heights section of Harlem. We're headquartered in Harlem. I actually decided to relocate there. I've lived in Manhattan for 30 years. I decided to relocate to Harlem so I could live in the neighborhood that we were first serving.
Oh, good.
And then we just by word of mouth and by promotion, other districts found out about us. And now, as of this year, we got 2 schools in Staten Island. So we're now officially in all 5 boroughs of New York City.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
In
And
over
how many
8
kids involved?
Over 18,000 we've taught altogether in more than 80 schools. So
That's
it's
amazing.
pretty exciting.
When you go into the school for the first time, what should you I can imagine what that.
It's exhilarating but exhausting because kids listen. The
They're
truth of the matter
watching
is they're watching. Kids think one another, they have cooties. Like, they don't want to touch each other. So we have very specific verbal and physical techniques that we use. I spent 2 years actually refining the syllabus and methodology to come up with a foolproof way to get the kids.
interesting.
Like, you know how all the kids say, "Hey, high 10, high 10, right?" So they do.
right.
High 10. So that's how we trick them into it. We say high 10 and hold it.
That's how, oh, and hold it.
And that's the first
Oh,
time they actually
Touch.
when they dance the merengue.
That is great.
Yeah.
That's-
So we ease them in, we sneak them into the dance hold, and it's gratifying to see, especially the more reticent child, the child who you can tell does not perceive him or herself as a dancer. Maybe they're shy, maybe they're withdrawn, maybe they feel like an outsider. Our syllabus is rotational, so they'll move from student to student. So that means every kid, whether
That's
they're
every kid.
regardless of popularity, ethnicity, they're going to dance with one another regardless. And it changes the whole social landscape of a classroom.
How many teachers do you have in a particular classroom with you?
We send in a single teaching artist. Sometimes we'll send them in with a teaching assistant. I tend to, at this stage of the project, supervise. I don't actually do the full residencies anymore. I have a team of about a dozen trained teaching
Wow,
artists.
that's
You're going to
great.
meet Miss Zoe shortly. She'll be walking in.
Okay.
And it's exciting. It's exciting to watch the transformation because kids can fist bump. They can be like,
Yeah.
they do that. But do you know,
I know
children
those things.
today, they don't even know how to shake hands.
Oh,
It is unbelievable.
properly,
The first thing we do is
yes.
we line up the gentlemen and we line up the ladies, and we say, "We're not girls and boys, what are we?" And the answer, of course, ladies and gentlemen, as I explained before. So our gentlemen are going to say good morning or good afternoon to our ladies. And they go down the line and they really don't know how to shake hands. It is mind-blowing to me that a skill that I reflect back on is so fundamental and so basic to human interaction that many children today don't even know how to do it. So just the fact that we're getting them to shake a hand, they'll need that in a job
Yes,
interview.
yes.
They'll need that in their future.
Right,
So
right.
even though I love merengue and tango and swing and all the fun dances that we do, and right, Barbara, we love these dances. Barbara's here watching, good friend of ours, Barbara. That's the reason that I was connected to you, because
Right.
of my love for dance and Barbara's love for dance. So the dancing itself, of course, is a huge artistic contribution to the children.
Yes.
They learn about the cultural history of where the dance is
Oh,
from.
oh, good,
We
good,
teach
good.
you'll see in the hi, here comes Miss Zoe. Do you know where the class is? We're kind of surprised that they're not here.
I don't. I have no time with them.
You're
Say good
seeing-
morning to Father
you're seeing
Skirty.
the action live. You want to come around this side and say hello? Because this
Yeah,
way
we're on camera.
They know we're not talking to the space.
What was your name again?
Here, do you want
Louis,
to come
Louis
between
Skirty.
us?
Louis Skirty.
Yes,
Very
how
nice
are
to
you?
meet
Are you going
I'm
to be
great.
with us today?
Yeah, I'm going to be with you
Excellent,
today.
excellent.
I'm their main teacher.
And this is the perfect time for an intermission. So we're going to stop now. Thank you very much.
Thank
for
you
being
very
with
much.
us, and thank you for coming on.
We were
and-
just talking
and we'll
about how the
continue-
kids don't even know how to shake hands
Yeah.
anymore.
Well,
And we'll-
these guys do.
Okay,
Good.
We'll continue the interview in a few moments.
Okay, great.
We'll be back with Dr. Dance and, oh, no, not that one.
Ballroom Basics.
Ballroom Basics. Thank you. And let me hear from you, Father Lou Skirty at hotmail.com. And we'll put Sydney's email and all that information up on our bylines as well. And you might catch him in a local school. God bless you.